Hello everyone, welcome back to the One Piece Nerd channel. In chapter 1130, the author showed us that no detail in the Final Saga is insignificant. The Straw Hats won't be casually exploring new lands because right here in chapter 1130, the monster Loki officially appears, and he's nothing like the fool he once seemed. Loki truly embodies a monster, having killed his own father to seize a devil fruit. However, after researching for a while, I think Loki might not be the main focus of the chapter. Instead, the highlight could be the grand scene of Elbaph, marked by a gigantic sword piercing through the land. I'm extremely curious about who could have wielded that sword. Today, let's join One Piece Nerd in exploring some theories about the owner of that sword. We previously made a video on the Fire Devil fruit. You can check it out on our channel for more details. If this fruit truly exists, it could mean that the user can transform into a giant fire demon, even larger than a typical giant, perfect for wielding the sword embedded in Elbaph. Alternatively, if it's not a fire demon, the devil fruit could still have the power to let the Elbaph royal family grow to a size capable of wielding the sword. We know that the devil fruit Loki took from his father is a rare, powerful, and dominant one, passed down through the Elbaph royal line. For the Elbaph people, size and pure physical strength are key, so if the royal family's devil fruit is a strength-enhancing type, it would make total sense. The royal descendants could awaken abilities to wield that sword or defend the nation. In the upcoming fight with Luffy, it's possible Loki will take up the sword to strike him, forcing Luffy to transform into Nika to fight back. He might even have to push beyond his limits and grow bigger than ever before. I must say, I really like this scenario. Although Loki is strong, he's got nothing on Luffy, to be honest. Unlike Wano, Elbaph isn't closed off. Information about its warriors has spread. Not to mention, Loki once set sail to propose to Lola, and Shanks is now allied with the Elbaph people, so he definitely knows about Loki. Yet Loki has never been mentioned as some kind of undefeated monster. Big Mom once expressed interest in allying with the Giants, but she never thought highly of Loki, so anyone claiming that this prince is stronger than Kaido, I don't buy it. Power inflation? No way. One Piece may have some bounty inflation, but not when it comes to strength. The legendary figures still dominate the top tier in this series. For instance, in the pirate world, no one surpasses Roger or Whitebeard, and Rox isn't close either. As for the Navy, who in the future could rival Garp? It's clear that Oda doesn't want fans to forget the legendary characters. Kaido was meticulously developed, so he won't lose the title of strongest to Loki anytime soon. Therefore, without reaching Yonko level, it's unlikely this prince could take down Luffy. However, if he can wield the giant sword, it's a different story. If not strong enough, then he's got some heavy weaponry, a very reasonable way to buff him, keeping older characters from being overshadowed, as Loki relies not only on personal strength, but also on powerful gear. This makes the arc more thrilling, with a character capable of going head-to-head with Luffy. Clearly, Loki is the main antagonist in Elbaph, not counting any external fighters. One way or another, Oda will undoubtedly buff the blonde rebel, but aside from this, other theories are just as plausible. Imu-sama. This may sound crazy, but that sword could very well belong to Imu-sama, everyone. But why would it be stuck in Elbaph? From the stories, the giant race was incredibly powerful and often went all in during wars. They didn't stand on the sidelines during the World War 800 years ago, so there's a strong chance Elbaph was once a battlefield where Imu's forces clashed with Joy Boys. I believe that sword belongs to Imu for two reasons. First, Imu has the ability to transform into something enormous. His full power is still unknown, so he's likely able to grow even larger than what we've seen. The size of the Gorosei and Egghead was already overwhelming, wasn't it? Their monstrous forms are even larger than the giants, so as the leader of the Gorosei, Imu must be even more colossal. This is our first clue. The second clue, which is even more compelling, is that 200 years ago, Emeth went up to the Holy Land to cause chaos. In his drunken rage, he was a troublemaker, but when he sobered up, he had spears and weapons stuck in him. After being shut down and returned to Egghead, we saw something pierce through him. Initially, I thought it was the spear Emeth used to attack the Holy Land, but a closer look showed it didn't match in size. The thing that impaled Emeth was large, but smaller than the spear he wielded. This means that someone attacked Emeth in the Holy Land, and besides the Gorosi, only Emu would have that kind of power. However, we know the Gorosei's fighting styles well, and none use weapons except Nashiro, who uses a sword. So it's highly likely Emu used a spear or something similar to stab the robot. Emu is often depicted with various weapons around him, like knives and swords, and he doesn't seem to have a fixed weapon. He's more of a use whatever's available fighter, which doesn't exactly fit the image of a kingly figure. However, Luffy also fights this way, using anything that can deal damage to its fullest potential. This is truly the most effective fighting style. Zoro, for example, sticks to swords, but even he had to admit when he faced King that using everything available, not just swords, is highly effective. In the ancient world, Emu served as the king of a nation, perhaps as a temporary leader of 20 nations, so he might use a sword to fit a commander's image. After the battle at Elbaph, Emu may have embedded his own sword here as a warning, as the king of the giants had lost to him. As for what pierced Emeth, I think it was Emu's spear. This theory may sound wild, but wouldn't it be fascinating if true? And based on the evidence I've outlined, it's not an unreasonable possibility. The Final Saga is here, and what could be more thrilling than Loki declaring, "I will rule the world and defeat him," the one who, according to legend, defeated my ancestor and embedded his sword in this land. The most popular theory is that this sword belongs to the first god Nika. We all know Joy Boy was just a mortal empowered by a god. He ate the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika. Before Joy Boy, there may have been another sun god. Evidence suggests that this prior god didn't resemble Joy Boy. That sun god used swords and spears, while Joy Boy was more into hand-to-hand combat like Straw Hat Luffy. Who knows, maybe that giant sword belonged to the god the giants worshipped. Many theories even suggest that the former Nika came from Elbaph, which could explain why the giants revere and understand the sun god so deeply. When a giant transforms, imagine how enormous it would be, easily enough to wield that sword. After a god passed away, he left the sword, hoping someone would inherit it. As for the spear, it might be left somewhere else, like a place he saw as a second home. Luffy will need both weapons, Nika's spear and sword. Why is that? Luffy is already nearing his peak, possessing 3 advanced types of Haki and an awakened devil fruit. Haki can still be upgraded, especially with unique enhancements. But there isn't much left to buff. Devil fruit abilities, even less. If someone says Gear 6 or Gear 7, they'd probably be more excited than the scriptwriters. Gear 5 has already become a symbol of peace and freedom worshipped by various tribes. Luffy has multiple gears, but Gear 5 truly embodies the sun god. Adding Gear 6 would mean a new transformation, so what was Oda building Nika's image for 25 years? There won't be a Gear 6, instead, there will be gear variations, but overall, there isn't much left to explore. Now that Luffy is at this level, new weapons are clearly the second ally Oda could power up significantly for him. This is One Piece, not Luffy and friends. Luffy doesn't shine alone, he has comrades and friends too. So who says the rubber brain has to go one-on-one with the final boss? It could end up as a team fight. Allies need to be strongly buffed, and weapons are a worthwhile aspect to explore. We've seen how much Zoro changed when he wielded Enma, going from ordinary to straight up master level. In One Piece, weapons enhance characters' power, no matter the level. The best weapons have unique traits, like Enma absorbing Haki. Essentially, Nika's sword and spear will bring special abilities that will empower Luffy a lot. Oda hinted at this in the battle with Kaido, where Luffy used the Thunder Spear to attack him. Luffy also tried the second Demon Sword, a high-tier great-grade sword. Luffy handled the spear well, even though he rarely uses weapons. This proves Gear 5 helps him adapt to different types of weapons. In the crew, there's the master, Zoro. With just a few basic lessons from him, Luffy might become a rival for the strongest title. The image of Luffy wielding a sword in giant form would be epic, showcasing the authority of a god. These are some of my theories. It took me 2 hard days to finish this video. I hope you all support me. Views have been flopping lately. If you enjoyed, comment raise, so I have a reason to ask my boss. If not, please like the video so I can count the likes and reflect on myself. Anyway, that's it for the video. Goodbye, and see you tomorrow or the day after.